Alright. Hello, hello, hello. Chainsaw Man chapter 157 just dropped. And we are going to talk about it. It's actually a pretty short chapter overall, so not that much to talk about. But let's get into it. So the legs from last chapter turns out to be not just one set of legs, but two. Um, so it's Assa and Fami. So no Reze, unfortunately, although I thought it was pretty obvious. Uh, they stand in the first page of the chapter in a pretty cool pose, and Asa seems to be surprisingly unconcerned by getting her arm cut off from the last time we saw her. But regardless, her and Fami are here to break Denji out. Or more specifically, they are here to separate Denji from his heart. Or to, because remember, from a while ago, Fami convinced Asa and Yoru that they can save Chainsaw Man and kill him by removing his heart and then killing the heart that is a separate entity from the regular Chainsaw Man. So that's what Asa is under the impression of. She asked Fami again just to make sure that this plan will work. Fami says yes. She's probably lying. Um, but anyways, the two step into the devil detention center, and the security guard decides to just start shooting them. But that didn't quite work for him because Asa can now turn things into weapons without having to touch them. So she turns the turrets into her own, and she changes its shape by, I guess, from the way Fami explained it, she uses her contract to buy the turrets, so to speak. But because, so the way she explained it, Asa has 1.33 million yen in her account. And so I did a little conversion. So 1.33 million yen in 1999 would be not that much more. It'd be 1.4 million yen in today's money. And that would convert to about $9,000, almost 10,000 in today in freedom units. But so obviously $10,000 isn't nearly enough to buy a military grade turret. But in Asa's mind, she doesn't know much about how much weapons would cost. So to Asa, 10,000 is quite a lot. And she justifies that as being enough to purchase a turret. And you can see the 10,000 on the side of the turret. Although it is in Japanese yen, so I don't know if Fujimoto did like a conversion in his head or just like a nice number to look at. But either way, so in some ways, this makes Asa even more powerful than Yoru because her ignorance allows her to bypass a lot of the rules of reality. So, anyways, she uses her college fund turrets and blows a hole into the front entrance of the Devil Detention Center. She and Fami then sneaks around the facility, and then at the end of the chapter, she fucking tripped and fell in front of a handful of soldiers. So, to be fair, she is missing an arm. So, when you walk with one arm, it's a lot harder to keep your balance. And, speaking from experience, or it could be a trick by the falling devil. But regardless, Fami she's about to do something to get them out of this mess. And this is presumably the trump card that she mentioned earlier, because just a moment ago, Assa asked Assa asked Fami to help. But Fami said that she is saving herself as a trump card. So this is presumably it. Uh, there is an editor's note that I'll get to later that pretty much confirms that this is the said trump card. But before we get into that, let's kind of slightly go over what this could be. So, from what it looks like after I did a CSI close up, looks kind of like a finger to me. I thought it could be like a shrunken human being at first, but it doesn't really have the arms or the legs. And the bottom part kind of looks like it's been cut like a stump. So my guess is that this is a finger. And so whose finger is it? I would think it's from a devil. Because back when Yuko transformed in Asa school, we saw that Fami can heal and empower devils. So, from the Gun Devil, we learned that devils can be split into different pieces and like still be used pretty effectively. So, what I'm suggesting here is that Fami has a piece of a devil here that she is going to revive and empower like she did to Yuko. And then this devil is going to wreak havoc on the devil hunters in the facility. So that's kind of where I see this going. Uh, bu- 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 bu. Yeah, that's about it for this chapter as far as things to talk about. There's also the intro and outro by the editor's commentary. So the intro is pretty straightforward. It's just saying that they are at the front entrance of the Tokyo Detention Center. And this is me copy pasting from the translation, the Deep L translation. I probably could have edited that to make it make more sense. But the ending though is saying that it's basically just saying Fami's about to use her trump card. So pretty much get rid of any ambiguity I had about what she is going to do here as far as like what kind of level of ability she was about to use. But yeah, that's about the end of the chapter. Pretty short summary review. Next chapter is coming next week. No break next week. So that's about 3 weeks in a row that Fujimoto is publishing chapters. So he's on the roll. Let's see. Beidou Simp says the security guard just decides to start shooting them. Yeah, pretty much. Because the other guy kind of mentions that, hey, those are 2 high school girls over here. And then the old man he's like, I guess we'll start shooting them. So very liberal in his usage of weaponry. Very American of him. But yeah, that's the end of the chapter. I guess that's about all I have to say. I'll see you all next week.